the soccer and world football records that will never be broken, according to us. Now, there's records out there that are phenomenal. There is a record out there that Lionel Messi still holds that I think will be broken somewhere down the line, but not by anyone. I think in my lifetime, the fact that he has had the most goals scored in a calendar year, and I believe there was 91 that he scored in a calendar year. So that's taken into consideration all competitions that he played in that year, but I will go as far to say that that won't be broken in my lifetime, but that doesn't mean it will never be broken, so therefore it doesn't make my list of three records in world football dating back many years ago that will never be broken, I don't think, ever again. The first one, which just brings me joy.
Rangers?
Yes. Get the fucking... They said Rangers. All right, anyway. I don't know what that was. It was a fit. That's what happens when you mention Rangers. When I'm about to talk about Celtic.
This is why I bring this stuff up. What is it about Celtic, Francis?
This is a record that will never be broken. I will be comfortable saying this in anyone's lifetime. Is that Celtic are the only club team to win the European Cup with most homegrown players. They had 14 players, not just homegrown. Of those 14 players, Glasgow? The majority of them lived within 10 miles of the stadium.
So you understand that was so long ago that they had to send carrier pigeons
to try and scout another player. So yeah, I understand, but that's the reason why it
can't be broken.
Yeah, the reason why it can't be broken is because no one in their right mind stays close to home when they recruit. Yeah, like Spanish teams, I think out of all of them, they like to breed Spanish footballers. You look at Barcelona in their prime. They had Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, like Puyol, a lot of great Spanish players.
Only 4.
Yeah, still, but then you add in that little guy Messi, and you add in nowadays Suarez, who's Uruguayan. It's never going to happen again. Celtic in 1967, the Lisbon Lions. We remember
1767.
14 players of the 15-man squad weren't only born in Scotland; they were all born and bred just a few miles away from Celtic's home ground.
Who was the loner?
Who's the one man? I actually don't know. I need to find out.
Who's the one from Northern Ireland that just got
No, they were all born in Scotland.
Oh, they were all born?
14 of the 15-man squad were within 10 miles or around that area.
The entire team?
Yes.
Celtic
entire team.
Was
Glasgow.
Very, very Glasgow. Man,
yeah,
no one could understand what their game plan was.
So, yeah, not
outside
even...
of Scotland.
Let's just broaden it out a little bit. I don't think you'll get a team that has all players from the same country. I will say that's a record you'll never
like. You'll
never, next to the World Cup you do. And the Champions League, I don't think you'll get any team ever win it. Just all Spanish players, all English players, all Italian players. No, it's not going to happen. And I'm so happy that Celtic have that record. And also the first British team to win the European Cup.
The European Cup in with the champion.
Yeah, it's the same thing. That's it.
No, it's not the same thing.
Well, it's the same competition. It's just been renamed.
Trophy, it's different name. There's more ribbons now.
We can't play for the European Cup, Jason, because we don't have a time machine.
So I have an unbreakable record. No one will ever win the European Cup again.
There you go. Very true.
Real Madrid, 1955 to 1960.
Yes.
5 straight years.
Unbreakable record.
They'd have to do it. They can. They're the most capable team right now because they have the last one. So.
This might be one that could be broken down the line because we don't know, but again...
to see such sheer dominance.
No one can even win it back-to-back.
That's what I was going to say, is like no one's done it back-to-back yet. So I thought maybe, Barcelona could have been in the sights of doing that because of 2 years ago, and if last year they did it, this would have been them trying to go for a third.
Yep.
And I look because... I'm not trying to compare Real Madrid to Barcelona, but I don't see Real Madrid in 4 years from now having the team to still... to do it. Just imagine winning back. They can't. No one's gone back to back. How could we think anybody's going to do 5 in a row?
Yeah, this is one of the ones that if you're going to give it some leeway, maybe somewhere down the line in the future, there's just such a dominant team that no one can stop. But if we are taking the European Cup, as we should, into Champions League football, no one's going to do that again. I am confident in saying that. That was a time where Real Madrid was so dominant and the other teams were just continuously chasing the pack.
Rich.
Yeah, they were obviously, they had a lot more money. They had some quality players in there that at their time, they held probably 5 out of the top 10 best players in the world at that point. So, yeah, like when you look at Barcelona...
All from 4 miles away.
All from 4 miles from the stadium. When you look at Barcelona now, everyone says they have maybe 4 out of the top... 3 out of the top 6, 7 best players in the world on their team. But I think that as football's progressed, it's a lot harder nowadays, I think, for an individual player of brilliance to influence a complete game, because I think everyone gradually has gotten better, stronger, faster. I've always made that argument. That's why when we talk about the Maradonas and the Pelés of the world, like, it's just football's just changed. It's a lot harder to play against a team. That's why I don't think that Messi gets enough credit, because when Maradona was able to do the things that he was doing, I don't think the teams were so defensive minded as they are these days. Like, you wouldn't have got back then a team like Chelsea able to win a Champions League based solely on being a great defensive team and able to use some of their attacking threat. So, and I may be wrong on that, but I'm just going off what I've learned from watching the world of football. So I think you're right, Jason. I don't think that record will ever be broken. And one stupid one that I'm going to throw out there before I get into another realistic one, the highest scoreline in a game. This is held by AS Adema, who versus SO Lemrin.
It's my favorite club.
It was 149-0. This actually happened in
Happened
the Madagascan THB Champions League playoff. Why was there not a movie about this? We had Madagascar.
You understand that's a goal. It's a goal, like almost two per minute, like 1.75 goals per minute.
It's insane. It's insanity.
You know how disheartening that would be?
Of course it is.
Also, at what point do you just if I'm playing after 12,
I'm calling quits at 10. I'm asking.
Where's your heart? I'm at least going to 12.
I'm out.
Basically, a lot of people don't know is that I come from a family in Madagascar, and they wanted me to be a goalkeeper.
So, were you in that game?
I conceded 149 goals.
It was 2002. So, what age would you have been? Like 4?
Yes.
Young joke.
But Tish, I was I can't do math. 11.
11. You probably would have been better than the goalkeeper that conceded 142.
You see me in goal, deadly.
There's a couple of ones here that they have on this list that I'm referencing. This is by iGeekSoccer.com. They have Just Fontaine, who scored 13 goals in the World Cup tournament. I think that could be broken.
Of course it can. It's
I think
conceivable.
that there is a lot of players out there that, with the right rub of the green, the right draw in the group, you maybe have a team that is just going to be the whipping boys, and you can bang in 4 or 5 goals or 3 goals in a game. I think it's a great record.
I think it is a phenomenal record. My point was going to be I know it didn't happen in the World Cup, but Lewandowski scored 5 goals in 9 minutes and 48 seconds.
Yes.
So just take that example. One player gets so hot, and look at the likes of which people score goals now. I mean, yeah, it's very conceivable that Ronaldo goes to the next World Cup and finishes with 13 goals in a tournament. It's not out of the question.
It was 58 years ago, and Fontaine, he had 13 goals in 6 games, but France never even made it to the finals. That's insane.
How's that possible?
That's insane. So, but in the more
probably
recent times, original Ronaldo, 2002, had 8, and that was deemed phenomenal. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be extremely difficult. I just think that amidst these records, yeah, exactly, it's conceivable. The other one that I just can't bring myself to think, the way the Premier League has gone the past 5-6 years that I've watched it, I think this record is my last one to say that I don't think anyone's ever going to have a worse Premier League season than Derby County in 2007-2008. Derby. Jason, how many games did they win?
I think 1, right?
They won 1 game. They won 1 league game. The longest winless run, 32 games, and lost a total of 29 games.
So
and they're called the Rams.
After my Madagascan time as goalkeeper, Derby County called me up and said, "We love what we saw. We need you to play striker." And I went there and scored no goals.
This is Jason's journey of performances. The reason I make this one that I just don't think anyone will have as bad a season as that is because we've seen how bipolar this Premier League is for the last 5 to 6 years. If Leicester can go on and win it, anyone can win a game at any given time. That's something that's so special about the Premier League.
They won a game.
They won a game.
They won a game.
To be able to lose that much, it probably could happen. Like Aston Villa had such a dire season last year. But it's still just so hard. Like on your home turf, you have how many games in the Premier League?
You have to play everybody, games. So you got to play the bottom 5 teams on your home
19 games
turf.
at home. 19 games at home, and you can't win more than 1. I just think it's a very... I would put my money on this record standing for the next
I would put money
20,
on
30
Fontaine's record being broken, even though that there's more chance of it because it's only every 4 years than I would put on a team in the Premier League in the next 16 years to go 1-29.
Yes, I can see that. It's incredible. Well, let me pick this part up. I was going to say something really quick, but all right. And last but certainly not least, this is one that, based on other reasons, more so than the Derby County one, I just had to throw it in because I thought it was funny. Most career hat tricks, Pele has it, so it's always going to be a record that Pele, I think, will hold because he had 92 hat tricks, Brazil and Santos. The reason, again, Pele was often criticised why he wasn't considered or is not considered the greatest of all time. He's easily one of the greatest, one of the top 3, but it's because he remained at Santos. He didn't go and venture to a Barcelona, where I'm sure it's a lot harder to have that many career hat-tricks. So that's the only thing that I think makes this somewhat unbreakable, because if you have a phenomenally gifted player coming through the ranks like Neymar, he didn't stay in Brazil all that long. If he stayed there the majority of his career, he could have potentially had more than 92 hat-tricks. But he went to Barcelona. That's why you have to realize how unreal Messi and Ronaldo's hat-trick record is when they do it in a far more competitive league than what Pele did in his prime. So that one I think is going to stand for a while. But there's plenty more out there, so let us know what you think. And this will be a reoccurring clip, but we'll move over to NBA and NFL, and they will be coming very soon. Hit us in the comment section below. On Twitter, Francis_Maxwell, Jason Rubin 91. On Instagram, Francis Maxwell host, Jason Rubin 91. And we'll catch you guys very soon.